While the debate over criminal justice reform plays out at the federal level, with Democrats pressing with some success for progressive gains, this week I was stunned to hear that one state, South Carolina, is poised to introduce the option of death by firing squad to death row prisoners. This in response to a lack of lethal injection drugs, and the state is not alone in looking at this. Joining me now, South Carolina State Representative Justin Bamberg, a Democrat. Representative Bamberg, you and I have known each other and worked on things, so you're always straight. It is expected that your state governor will soon sign a bill that requires death row inmates to choose between either electrocution or death by firing squads. I mean, tell me this isn't so. As your state's quota of lethal injection drugs has expired, some of our viewers might be surprised to learn that South Carolina would not be the only state that executes prisoners in this matter. But I've read that amendments were offered up by state legislators to keep even more gruesome means of execution off the books. As a state representative who has seen the legislative process leading to this point, what can you tell us?
Rev, thank you for having me. Folks like yourself and others who've been, fighting the justice fight for a long time understand, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't. It blows my mind to see my state heading backwards. We started the death penalty using the electric chair back in 1912. Since that time, unfortunately, of the 282 executions that this state has had, majority of them, almost 74%, have been African-American males, even though African-Americans only make up 37% of the population in this state. And during the course of the debate here, there were amendments proffered by myself and my Democratic colleagues, for example, to follow in the footsteps of true leadership, like a now Democratic Virginia did when they recently abolished the death penalty. All of those efforts were cut down pretty quickly. And of course, here we are. Inmates have a choice, quote unquote, but not really. There's no humane way to kill a human being. I don't view the firing squad any better than the electric chair, lethal injection, or otherwise. The firing squad is something they do in North Korea. Think about that.
Wow.
North Korea.
I've been a long opponent of the death penalty, and either way it's done is wrong. But I think most Americans that I've talked to since you brought this issue up are stunned to even think in 2021 you're offering people the option of a firing squad. Last week, your state government closed offices in celebration, for example, of Confederate Memorial Day, commemorating those who died in the defense of slavery 140 years ago. I mean, actually closed the offices. I wonder if it's a stretch to assume that you were still working. And I also wonder what black lawmakers like yourself did while your peers felt the need to celebrate separatists and people that were guilty of betraying this country.
Well, Rev, when you live in a state like South Carolina, you have to fight every day. Whether it be a Confederate holiday, which for many of us, we view it as a slap in the face. I understand folks who lost loved ones in that war, but at the end of the day, like you pointed out, and I've been saying for years, living where I live, the Confederate Army was fighting over slavery, their right to own people like me and you. It's something that the state should not be celebrating. It is a shame to put that in the same category as, say, Veterans Day for people who actually fought for America. Instead, we honor those who didn't want to be a part of the great country we call America.
Well, they fought against it. It was sedition. I mean, I can't think of a nation in the world that celebrates the people that tried to overthrow their government and has holidays for them.
Well, not just that. When you look to Germany, there's no Nazi Memorial Day.
Right.
And the Confederate Memorial Day reminds this state is home to Mother Emanuel, right? Our friend Clemente Pinckney, a senator, was assassinated in that church with 8 others under the guise of the Confederate flag. We fought going way back when to remove the Confederate flag from the State House dome. It landed in the front yard of the People's House, including black and brown people, and we still can't escape it in the South. So when the question is asked, what do we do on Confederate Memorial Day? We work, and we work some more. And we're going to keep working, and we have to keep working in the South until we hit a point where these dark days are behind us and we can move forward and be more unified and, more importantly, be treated more equally.
Now, I have to get to that disturbing case out of Charleston, South Carolina, earlier this year. But the body cam footage released Friday in which a mentally ill man, Jamal Sutherland, died in attempted transport by police to his bond hearing. An altercation ensuing in his jail cell in which he was apparently tased while subdued and pepper sprayed was deployed. Your thoughts on this matter, Representative?
We have got, and I need everybody watching to not just hear this, but repeat this. We have got to get to a point in America where law enforcement and government understands being brown in and of itself does not make you dangerous. It does not make you less than human. And just as importantly, being mentally ill does not make you dangerous, does not make you less important. And what we see in the Sutherland case is a perfect example of government power over people that they view as worthless. Mr. Sutherland was tortured. He was tased approximately 9 times. And law enforcement, a taser is not a life raft, Rev. A taser is not some safety tool. It's not a Band-Aid. A taser is a weapon by definition. And this individual suffering severe mental health, schizophrenia, he asked officers, what is this about? What is this about, officers? I'm not resisting, officers. And they continued to cattle prong him, put a spit mask on his face, lay him on his stomach, put their knees on his back, drag him out of his cell like he was a sack of potatoes. And it's disgusting, right? And the question is, these are not things that just started happening, Rev. They've been happening back to when you were young and you were in the fight and you were in the streets and you were at the rallies. The only difference between then and now is now we have it on video.
Yeah.
And even after video, Rev, after video after video, when are we as a society going to take a stance and say, we will no longer allow our government, our law enforcement to treat us like the government's like we're seeing in Colombia right now, like we've seen in Venezuela, like we see in North Korea. The line has to be drawn somewhere, Rev, and it's getting ridiculous. We've been praying for Mr. Sutherland's family. We've got to make changes now.
Which is why some of us are still in the rallies and I'm still in the streets raising issues of justice, as you are. Justin Bamberg, thank you for being with me. We're going to follow this story.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.